Well, hello everybody, Brandon here, and today I'm going to do a little video here on something that I've had an opportunity to play around with a little bit called iTest. And up until Network Field Day 2, I had never heard of iTest. But iTest is a product that comes out of Spirent, and as you know, Spirent is all about testing. And so it's fitting that this product be called iTest. Now, what's interesting about iTest is that it actually can be used for a lot more than just testing. In fact, in my use case scenario, I decided to see if I could use the iTest application, the engine here, and actually script a setup of a lab exercise that I wanted to work on so that it would sort of speed things up for me in my lab environment. So what I did is I went ahead and created some sessions. Now let me show you real quick, just the first thing that you're going to need to do is create some sessions that you can connect into, these session profiles. And I've created a whole bunch of them, and I've been playing with voice racks and security racks and so on. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to go in, there's two different areas. There's iTest activities, which as you can see here is sort of a bit of a I guess menu-driven or wizard sort of driven type of a environment. And what I've been using is a little bit more complicated. It's called iTest Development, but I kind of like this a little more because I can see a little bit of what's going on. Now, the two areas I want you to focus on are the left side over here, the iTest Explorer, and the right side over here, this capture window here, and specifically where it says today. So what I would do is, let's say I wanted to create a session that I can connect out to. Well, I'll just right-click in here, and I'll create a new, and I'm going to create a session. And I can call this session whatever I want. In this case, I'm going to call this Firewall number 6, and hit enter there. And now it's starting to create this new session for me, and I got to tell it what type of a session it is. Now you'll notice there's quite a few options as far as sessions go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here, and this is just going to be a simple telnet connection. And the IP address I'm going to connect to is 172.16.100.221. It's an address based on my private network. And I'm going to connect out to port 2007 because that's the line that this firewall is connected to through my OpenGear console server. So I'll save that. And just to see if it works here, I'm going to go ahead and click Start. And now I'm getting a login prompt. I'll go ahead and authenticate here. And now notice on the right hand side there, that capture window, it's starting to capture things that are going on. Alright, so there we go. I've got some type of a device that I'm connected to, IUWNE PC switch. But regardless, I just wanted to show you the connectivity here. So I'm going to close this. I don't need it. And I'll cancel this out. And actually what I want to do is I want to delete all of this because this is going to be where the magic happens. So let's go ahead and delete this, and we'll click OK. So now, as far as today, I don't have anything captured. And I can close out this firewall session. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and log into firewall. Let's just call it Firewall A or Firewall 1. And I'll double click on that. And there's my firewall session. And I'm going to click on Start. And if I move this over a little bit here, you're going to see that on the right now we're capturing. So I'll go authenticate on in there. Okay. Now I get this weird prompt here. I'm going to just get out of this. And there's my ASA prompt. So I'll go ahead and type enable and config T. Interface gig 0/0. And let's see if we can put an IP address on here. And let's do 192.168.1. I believe this will be 2. And I'm going to name this outside. Get a security level there. Let's bring the interface up with a no shutdown. Let's set the host name to iTest ASA. And let's write the config there. Let's do a show interface IP brief and see if our interface shows up, which it does. And then let's go ahead and ping 192.168.1.1 and let's see if my router's up. And there we have a successful test. And so I'm going to go ahead and do let's go into config mode here. Clear configure all. And just blow this back to a standard ASA config. And I think I'll leave it at that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this window out because I'm essentially done. I can finish that. And I'll go ahead and close that out because I don't need it anymore. Now, everything over here on the right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that. I'll hold down Shift and I'll highlight it all. So I have everything that was just captured. And I'm going to add this to a test case. And I'll give this a new name. We'll just call it iTest post. Click on finish there. And now I'm in this new window here, well, this new tab, and it's showing me every step of this connection here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to delete some of these steps here that I don't think I need. And since I left it in a state where it's already in enable mode, let's go ahead and delete these items. So now what I'm going to have happen is I'm going to go ahead and connect to that session. I'll authenticate. I'll type in conft, I'll set up my interface, bring the interface up, and then save that config, view it, ping, and then we'll go from there and we'll see what happens. Okay. So the next step, let's go ahead and run this and let's just see what happens. And there goes iTest. And it set up my interface. And we have a successful ping. And it cleared the configuration for me. Okay, well, at this point, it scripted it for me. And I guess I could be happy with that. That'd be no problem. And notice, but it does tell me that the result is indeterminate. So what I can actually do now is I can go in and I can define what would be successful. For example, that ping being successful could indicate a successful setup. And then at that point, I can go ahead and run this again and I'd get a green check mark. Now, I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm going to leave it at that just because I've given you a little teaser of how quickly I could script that process. In fact, from where I left it again, let's go ahead and just run this again. And this is logging into a live box here. And there I go again. I'm going in, setting my host name, saving the config. Look at my interfaces, do my ping, clear the config. And again, we can see that iTest is able to run this scripted process, and we go ahead and we get back what's happened here. And then what's nice is now I can go ahead and package this up into a single command line executable, and I can run it anytime I want for my testing. So obviously I can use this for testing purposes, but I can also, like I said, in my use case scenario, I can use this for going ahead and scripting the setup of some of the lab exercises that I want to do. So if you haven't had a chance yet, I'll put a link on this page that'll take you out to the home page on Spirent's website where you could read more about iTest. And in my next post, I'm going to show you how to set a criteria for the test case here so that we can verify that it was actually successful. And then after that, we'll show you how to package that up into an executable. But that's the bare bones basics of iTest and some of the power that it has. Thanks for watching. My name is Brandon Carroll, and I hope you enjoyed.